All right. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the big show here on Traveling with Bruce. Welcome, one, welcome all. I hope you're doing well out there. Great to have you join us tonight from wherever you are. Let us know, where are you watching me from tonight? What's your high temperature today? What's the price of gas where you live? Is there any hope for summer, spring, anything, or is it still dead of winter for you guys? It's great to have you here. Welcome. We're in Palm Desert, California, Jennifer and I, hanging out till the end of April. And I gotta tell you, we think we may have just turned the corner on winter here. We might be over it. We've had a few false starts, but I have to say that the temperature going forward the next 10 days looks like we are on our way. One way you can tell whether it's, you're out of it is what's your high temperature. But the other way to really know for sure is what are the overnight low temperatures. That's the giveaway. And today we hit 63 degrees or 66 today. We're 63 right now. We're supposed to hit 69 for the high tomorrow. 72 on Wednesday, 75 Thursday, 76 Friday, 81 Saturday, and 82 Sunday, 81 next Monday, 82 next Tuesday. The overnight lows are going to be 58, 57, 58 degrees. That is the tell, because last week, after I said my goodnights to you guys, the next few days, we hit 38, 39 for the overnight lows. When you hit 38, 39 for the overnight low in the desert, you're not going to hit 80 the next day. That's not going to happen. You might get 65, but you're not getting 80. Well, we had highs last week in the 50s with rain because of these weather systems that we've been telling you about, and you've watched on the news for the last several months now. These non-stop bands of moisture coming through California, mainly middle and northern California, and all those folks in Oregon and Washington State. The amount of rain and snow coming down has been unbelievable. Around here, we have got some of the most incredible views we've had. Up till a few days ago, we had snow all around us on the hilltops, the mountaintops around here. It's quickly disappearing because the sun is out now and it's burning it off, except for the highest peaks around here. But oh my, oh my. Our furnace conked out again. I may have mentioned this last week. We've had about a month now of furnace issues. We called the managers. They sent a furnace person out here a week or so ago. They thought they had it fixed. Didn't take, and conked out again. And it was last week, I think it was Thursday or Friday in the morning. I got up to make myself my coffee. It was so cold the night before. Going to bed, it was so cold. We were at 61 degrees in the condo going to bed, and we woke up, it was 54. And Jennifer and I, we went into bed fully clothed, sweatshirt, t-shirt, sweatpants, socks, and we had an extra blanket we put on the bed. We had two blankets, and we were snug as a bug in a rug, nice and warm inside the bed. Once we got settled in, that was fine. It was when you get up the next morning and it's 54. Oh, that is cruel and unusual punishment. But by about 11 in the morning, 12 o'clock, we were back into like 62, 63 inside the condo. So it was, almost livable. They sent a second crew of furnace people over here. And wouldn't you know it, 10 minutes before they got here, guess what happened? It turned on. The furnace turned on. It's working. They said, does it do this from time to time? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It turns on whenever it wants. We haven't had it for 4 days until 10 minutes ago. They knew you were coming. And all of a sudden, the furnace knew, oh, I better turn on. That's how it works around here. And so they went up on the roof where the furnace is. We have an air conditioning furnace unit up there. They tried everything to get it not to work. They were measuring electricity current levels, and they were checking switchers, and they were checking, everything. They would shut it off, leave it for a while, turn it on, would turn on. We could get it to turn on. But they think they know what it is. They believe that there's something in the ignition system or something. There's something, and I think what's happening is a part has been ordered for replacement. But guess what happened last night in the middle of the night? It turned off. It was off again. And this morning I woke up, it was 63 degrees in the condo instead of 67. It had been off and it's cooling off. But with the overnight lows coming, 57, 58 overnight lows and highs in the 80s, we won't need the furnace anymore. The furnace won't be a problem any longer, because for us to keep the condo at 66 to 68 degrees, no brainer anymore. So hopefully, we are hoping we have turned the corner now that the sun's angle is really coming up now, and sunset is now at 5:46 around here, and we're soon going to jump forward, and then it'll be 6:46. We know when you change clocks and jump forward, you're out of the worst of the winters. So cross our fingers. In Calgary, where we're from, it's 10 degrees right now, Fahrenheit. 10 in Calgary. Overnight, it will be 0 tonight, Fahrenheit. Tomorrow's high 20. Wednesday's high 18. The weekend high of 28. Next Wednesday, 36. They're going to finally break freezing. So they're still in winter up there. And I'm not, you might think I'm complaining, but I'm really not. I'm quite happy with how things are going here. Crossing our fingers that it'll just keep coming, because we should be in the 80s now, low 80s every day. That's normal. And so we're hoping normal has arrived and will stay. Please. We'll see what happens. Welcome one, welcome all from wherever you are on this planet. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for hitting the thumbs up button if you're already doing it. I appreciate it. We're always trying to hit 100 thumbs ups every week. I think we did it again last week. I think we hit 100 thumbs ups last week. Yet again, it was, I got these messages coming in from viewers saying, hey, Bruce, they were sending messages and saying, hey, Bruce, caught your show, loved your episode about blah, blah, blah. Oh, by the way, I was thumbs up number, 86, or another person would say, oh, I was thumbs up number 105. Last week's show, 120 thumbs ups have come in. The week before, 122. The week before, 114. And so every week, you folks come through for us, for Jennifer and I, with these thumbs ups buttons. And I thank you. We're at 20 right now, already 20 thumbs ups. Thank you all for getting us 1/5 of the way already to the house. And like I say, the rerunners, all of you watching on the rerun, hit that thumbs up button, because you guys every time get us over 100 thumbs ups. And that just helps the channel get a little more promotion. Thank you all. Shady Hill Homestead is saying hello, everybody. And I am thumbs up number 5 already. Ken Kareka is here. Hi, Bruce, and everybody from Saginaw, Michigan. The temperature is 35 degrees with drizzle, snow flurries in the area. Gasoline is up to $3.60 a gallon here. Good evening, Janet and Ken. We were number 3 tonight. Thank you guys for being here every week. Rocky Grasso is in the house. Hello, Bruce and TW folks from the Chesapeake, Virginia area. Number 4 thumbs ups. The temperature is 48 degrees Fahrenheit, down from 63 this afternoon. That's downright pleasant. With cooler temperatures coming tomorrow, the price of gas is about $3 a gallon. Ms. M, hi, Bruce and all. Number 6 thumbs ups from the Fraser Valley in British Columbia. Kirk Bronson's YouTube and Facebook channel. Hi, Bruce and TB family. Kirk from New York City, and I'm still at work, but I'm watching you. Right on, pal. Stephen Butler, number 6, gas 310. Temperature today's high, 77 degrees in Northwest Arkansas. Reading Jules Verne novel, A Floating City, got me thinking about what makes us each want to be travelers, whether by sea, air, rail, or road. Exactly. Brittany Anderson is in the house. Hello, Bruce and everybody. Ms. M, weather is reasonable, about 6 Celsius and sunny and cloudy. Stephen Butler, number 6 tonight, gas 310 a gallon, temperature high 77. We got that already. Brittany, let's move on. My husband and I closed on our first place, a townhouse, on Friday, and started to move stuff from our apartment to our townhouse. None of our major stuff yet, but way to go, you guys. Congratulations. Lots of room. Donnell is in the house. Donnell, hi, Bruce and all. I'm number 15 on the thumbs up meter. Winter is back here for a bit in Cork, Ireland. gas is about €1.63 a liter. So it's very expensive compared to USA prices. Nothing new. Well, you add about 20% to that minimum. So you're going to have to add about 35 cents. So that's over $2 a liter in American money. And I think you need 4.3 liters to get a US gallon. So that's $8.60 a gallon in American money for an American gallon. Give you an idea how expensive that is. Karen is in the house. Hi, Bruce and Jen. Continued healing to Jen. Weather is good from northern Illinois. 54, but cloudy, very dismal. Bulbs are starting to burst out of the ground, though. They're coming. Wow, that's awesome. Brittany, Bruce, what are you saying about the furnace giving out? Reminds me of June 2020, but it was the air conditioning. That's right. You had air conditioning problems back then, and it was hot. Seeing gas prices under $3 at several gas stations around here. Rocky Grasso, Brittany, congratulations to you and your husband, your first new house. Brittany, I am number 13 for the thumbs up. Thank you, Brittany, so much. Thank you, Rocky. She says, and Nikki, hi, everybody. It's 72 here in Jacksonville, Florida. Tomorrow, we're expecting 82 Fahrenheit. Right on. Not bad. Yay, Brittany. Happy housewarming to you. And Brittany, our townhouse is just under 1,200 square feet. Way to go, you guys. Congratulations on making the big move. Fantastic stuff. Jennifer here is definitely healing dramatically. She's getting way better all of a sudden. It's really improving now. She doesn't use a cane, doesn't use her walking sticks, just walks around the house. She's careful. She makes sure not to fall down. She's pacing herself. Everything you're supposed to do. She does her exercises every morning here in the condo, like she's been told. She's been given sort of indoor exercises to do, and then she has exercises we do when we're out at our swimming pool area. She has in the pool exercises she loves to do as well. The pain level from the surgery incision area is very low now, not much of a factor as it used to be, of course. That's what it's all about. And her physiotherapist, she saw her for the last time last Thursday, and all went very well, and it's all good. So we're very, very pleased about all of this progress. This past Saturday was a big day for us. We went for a nice walk in the facility here in our condo community. We then got in the car and we headed to Costco, and we did some Costco shopping where she walked the whole Costco store pushing the cart, and we kept loading it up and got heavier and heavier, and she's pushing that cart, steering that cart. That's exercise in itself. And then we got back and we unpacked everything, popped on our bathing suits, and went out to the pool, and she did her exercises in the swimming pool and swam the pool back and forth. And that was the biggest day of activity for her since surgery. That she did more activity on that one day than she had done since surgery. Just beautiful, really great. She felt good about it. I felt great about it, and we're just delighted with how things have come along. So way to go, Jen, and we want to keep on going that direction for sure. Sandy Robinson is here. Hi, everybody from Medicine Hat, Alberta. It is still snowing since Sunday. Still in hospital 6 days until x-rays for my broken femur. I sure hope you are getting out of there soon. It's been a long time for you. I sure hope you're coming home. Sharon, hi from Central New Jersey. We're glad to hear that Jen is recovering well. By the way, I was thumbs up number 2 just to make sure I got in. Now you've got 25 with 75 to go. Thank you, everybody, for helping out. Kevin Chapman, the author himself, is here. Hey, Bruce, spring is blooming here in Central New Jersey, but snow is in the forecast. I'm glad to hear the good report on Jen. Happy days ahead. Thumbs up number 25. Thank you, Kevin, and thank you, Sharon. Donnell, hi there, Stephen Butler. Speaking of floating city, it reminds me of a new mega yacht to be called Pangeos. Will be built in Saudi Arabia in 2033 for $8 billion, 60,000 capacity. Any news, Bruce? Nothing on that at all. Nothing on it. I know that, pardon me, I've heard, excuse me, I've heard for years and years and years that someday a mega ship was going to be built that could hold upwards of 100,000 people at a time. It would be a ship of proportions that you can't imagine, and that in some renderings, some actual renderings, it was almost like having like a pontoon kind of a ship, where you would have two long hulls parallel each other for like 5,000 feet, like almost a mile. It's massive, beyond anything ever created, 5 times the length of the biggest cruise ships now. And the two would be connected, of course, to each other. And on the top would even be a runway to allow airplanes to land and take off. Something of this incredible nature. So I've heard of this. I've seen artist renditionings of these. They come and they go, but nothing has ever come from it. But you never know. You know, who knows when it'll ever, if it'll ever happen. Pete Hoskins, good afternoon, Bruce, and all from a warm, hot Sydney. Cheers, Peter H. Oh, fantastic, sir. Thank you for touching base with us from where it's summer in down under right now. Fabulous. I have some news for you guys today that I'll fire your way. Donnell's saying here it'll be the shape of a turtle. I can't see it being built though. Yeah, I don't. I guess I've seen this traditional twin hulled kind of thing with like 30 levels, like massive 30 levels with atriums and just all endless reams of stuff. But then the atriums have like a ceiling on it, and then above all that is a runway, and no idea. Okay. News today. I've got some news today, and I've got some cruises for you guys that you might want to consider taking this year that I'll throw at you. See what you think about these. Thanks for everybody hitting the thumbs up button already. Appreciate it. So the news now, a little bit of news from Royal Caribbean. Apparently, Royal Caribbean has made the move that Carnival started and Norwegian started. It's all to do with your room steward. So if you've been on a cruise, let me go back a little bit, okay? Pardon me. If you were on a transatlantic ocean liner back in the 50s or 60s, pardon me, you had a room steward that did many, many, many functions. You would have you'd wake up in the morning, and you would wash yourself up a little bit. You might have, depending on the vessel back in the day, if you had an outside room with portholes, you would have had or could have had a bathroom in your suite. If you had a smaller suite, it would be more of a like a 2-bunk bed arrangement, 2 bunks on one side, 2 bunks on the other side, mom and dad on the lower berths and the kids on the upper, something like that. And you might have a sink in between the bunks, but there might have been a shared bathroom in the hall. Again, this is going back to the 50s, early, mid, late 50s into the 60s. Your steward, you wouldn't see your room steward until after you'd have breakfast, because in those days you would have an assigned seating time for breakfast. And a ship that could hold 800, 900, 1,100 people, you'd be eating in basically the main dining room for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And certainly breakfast and dinner. In any event, you would know that you might have like a 7:30 in the morning breakfast time, or you have an 8:30 or an 8 or a 9. It all depended on how many shifts there were. But the bells would go off in the hallway, like ding, ding, ding. And depending on the bell pattern, that would be your call for breakfast. Now, if you were not feeling too well and you're under the weather, or you had mom and dad and a couple of kids, and the kids weren't doing too well, they were a little under the weather, you would then call in the room steward, or you certainly signal the room steward. There'd be a button for that or a call, and your room steward would come to your room. And if you needed some seltzer, Alka Seltzer, something like that for an upset stomach, the room steward would bring you a tray with the glasses of water and the tablets and to help with seasickness or whatever the issue was. If you needed breakfast you were planning to go to have breakfast in the breakfast room, but now you can't, then you would contact the room steward. This is back in the day, to have breakfast brought to your room. Now, either the steward would deliver it to you, or the steward would arrange for the someone at the kitchen staff to bring it to you. Much heavier service, one-on-one, lots of one-on-one interaction. Once you, if you did go out for breakfast, for example, and you got dressed and out you went, while you were out at breakfast, your room would be made up while you were at breakfast. So by the time you got back from breakfast to your room, you might decide, let's go to the gym and work out a little bit or something like that, or just take a walk in the promenade deck. Let's get our windbreakers, because we are in the North Atlantic. So let's get our jackets on and go for a walk on the partially enclosed and partially exposed walkway. You'd come back to the cabin, and your room would all be made up, be all done. And you would put on your windbreaker, coat, whatever, and then off you go. And if the kids, during the day were involved in a lot of activities on board the ship, which there would be a lot of activities for the kids, by about 2 in the afternoon, they'd be ready for an afternoon nap. And so you'd bring the kids back to the cabin, and you'd tuck them in for a little nap time. And mom and dad might go away for an hour or two and come back around 4 or 5 o'clock, get the kids ready for dinner time. And now you'd get ready for dinner, you get dressed, and the kids would be all dressed. And now we'd go out to the seating, the dinner seating, at whatever time that was. Now the lunch could be done at the pool deck. It could be snacks somewhere on board the ship. There's all kinds of options for lunch, where food would be served all over the place. But you could always have lunch in the main dining room as well. But in any event, breakfast and dinner definitely timed events. You would have a dinner time or whatever. So if you have children, you'd have the early dinner. You have the early dinner time, and you'd bring them in around 5 and be done by 6. And then you take the kids to the theater to watch a movie, if there was a movie playing, or whatever you did with the kids to wear them out to get them to sleep. Well, by the time you got back to the cabin, after having left in the afternoon, late in the afternoon for dinner, but your cabin has been made up. The beds have been made now for bedtime. The steward would have been in there, and they would have cleaned up any waste and cleaned anything up. Everything's all tidied up, ready to go. Clothes would be hung up back in the closets or what have you. If you had laundry that needed to be done, it would be in laundry bags, and that the steward would have come and gotten that and taken it to the laundry facility. All being done while you're enjoying your cruise. The steward was a hands-on collaborator of your cruise back in the day. This was your communicator. Whether you needed a doctor, they would summon a physician for you, or nurse, or whatever the issue was. The steward was also the individual that would deliver to you a telegram if one happened to come in, some kind of an emergency or a message that you needed to receive, or you had sent a telegram and requested information from wherever, and it came back. The steward would deliver this to you. This was really hands-on service at every level. At the end of the cruise, you give your steward a cash tip in a little envelope, and look forward to seeing them the next time you're on the cruise. And there were people who would take cruises every year, and they'd be in the same kind of suite every year, and they'd have the same room steward to look after their needs. That's just the way it used to be. Okay, now let's come forward into the 2000s. And in the last 5-10 years, room stewards, you would see them depending on what time you were allowed on board your ship. You would be on your ship now. You come inside, maybe the main atrium area, and you'd have with you, perhaps you'd have a backpack on your back, or you'd have a carry-on, and you'd find your cabin. And by the time you got to your cabin, you'd notice your door is open, And inside your cabin is a room steward who is finishing making up your bed, because they have stripped the bed of the old bedding from those who were there last, took all the towels out, and had vacuumed the floor, done the mirrors, and was now finishing the making of the bed. Your room was being prepped for you. This is when you first meet your room steward. But on a typical cruise, a 1 week cruise to the Caribbean, your room steward would come in the morning after you go for breakfast, and your bed would be made up, towels would be changed out, the bathroom would be spotless, and you would then maybe have a bucket of ice on your in your living room area if you have one, and there might be a flower in a vase by the bed. In the afternoon, you would go back outside and frolic about on the beach. The room steward would come in and make sure that if you'd had a shower after breakfast or during the day, or the room is completely clean, spotless. And then when you go out for dinner, you'd go out for dinner, and the room steward would be in your room during that time, and would make up your bed, and would have maybe a little towel animal waiting for you, or there might be some chocolates on the pillow, depending on the class of room you have. But this individual may or may not be a collaborator like in the 50s and the 40s, not quite the same, but still service at a moment's notice. Pick up the phone, dial for your room steward, they're coming. Today, it's all different. The cruise lines are in massive economic trouble. They don't want to say it. They're claiming to be booking like you can't believe. They've got reservations all over the place. Everything is great as far as the cruise lines go, except for one little tiny detail. They're losing their butts right now. They are losing money because they have booked and sold cruises that are being conducted today. These were priced 2 years ago. And these prices from 2 years ago when there were no interest rates of any kind, and there was no inflation of any kind. And so they are losing money on their cruises. The ships, in some cases, are full, some cases are not. The cruise lines have been scrambling for ways to stay ahead of the inflation machine, stay ahead of their bankers with all the interest rates they're paying for loans. And what have they done? We've talked about this a lot. They've raised prices on everything on board the ships, and now they're cutting back on what you get on the ships, depending on the class of room you book. Because now cruise ships today are reverting to the old playbook that ocean liners used to use back in the day when your parents or grandparents used to go on ocean liners. And if you had a family of means with money back in the 30s and the 50s and the 60s, the cruises back then were glorious because you had first class, you had tourist class, and you had third class. And way back in the Titanic days, the Olympia days, the Mauritania days, the 30s, the 20s, and the 30s, back then, from 1910 to 1940, just before the war, first class didn't mix with anybody else, really. Tourist class could go to most places on board except for a few places, and third class were very restricted as to where they could go. We're going there again. We're heading there by increments, little increments, bit by bit by bit. And what you see now on Norwegian cruise ships, for example, you have the Haven. You have the Haven Club, and 250 cabins are Haven cabins. That's 500 people, 2 per person roughly. If they have any kids, you got kids. There's 500 people on board a 4,500 person ship that don't have to theoretically mingle with the rest of us. They will spend the night up there. They will spend the day up there in their own pool and their own jacuzzis, their own exercise areas. They have their own restaurant and bars up there that we can't go to. If we're on a regular balcony level, you can't go to the Haven. This is the new normal. And now what's happening is in the balcony cabins and the inside cabins where the 4,000 other people are, they're getting cutbacks. They're being charged more per day for mandatory gratuities, $20 a day a person, $17.50 a day, $22 a day. And then now the room steward's thing is no, you don't even call it a room steward anymore. It's called room service. It's called a cabin cleaning service. And once a day, only once a day, will a cabin steward person come into your cabin, change out your bedding, maybe, or just make your bed, give you new towels, and not a lot more after that. And this is the sin that is being conducted now by the cruise lines. These guys are going just like the Holiday Inn, the Marriotts, and the Wedgwood Inns, all your hotel brands. You can rattle them all off. They're doing the same thing. Some of you folks have stayed at a hotel for a week and you find that you don't get room service. You don't get room cleaning every day anymore. You get room cleaning every second or third day. Towels, they won't change them unless you want them changed. They won't change them unless you request it. It's now cut back, cut back, cut back, cut back. They said it's for the better, to help the environment. No, it's to help the bottom line of the hotel chain, not to give you fresh towels every day or to make your bed every day. And on the cruise lines, it's exactly the same thing. They can call it whatever they want. It is a money grab by giving you less and charging you more. They need the money and they have to cut down their expenses. And what they're doing is they are laying off and letting go hundreds of crew members per ship across the fleet. And this is going to continue any way they can figure it out to enhance the revenue into the cruise line. So Royal Caribbean has now joined everybody else. And you'll notice in the next 6 months to a year, an entirely different experience in your room going forward versus what it used to be like. Now, what the cruise line is doing, and this is how it's done. If you're going to do something like this, you don't do it. You do it over time, but you know you're going to get some fallout at the beginning. But in the long run, you're going to get away with it. And the reason is because the people that used to be on ocean liners in the mid 50s aren't alive anymore. They're not here anymore. They're not here to tell you what it used to be like for them because they died of old age. This is normal. If you were 60 years old in 1952 and well-to-do with you and your wife or you and your husband, and you went across to the continent in 1952 on the Queen Mary or the Queen Elizabeth, you got pampered because you had the money. You got pampered. Well, they aren't here anymore to take a cruise in 2023 on Carnival. They're not here on Norwegian. They're not able to. They passed away. They were 60 in the 1950s. It's 70 years. See what I mean? This is what the cruise lines, the game they're playing now. They're playing the game of in the next 15 years, most people cruising won't even know that they're missing it because they didn't take cruises in the 80s and the 90s and the 2000s. They started cruising in 2023, 24, 25. They don't know any better. And that's what's happening in this business. I'm not poo-pooing everything about cruising. There's some phenomenal advancements in cruising that make cruising a wonderful experience. And the onboard facilities and the onboard entertainment and the what to do on a cruise ship. I mean, it just never stops. It's fantastic. But for traditionalists out there, they can tell where there's a cutback and where there's an improvement. And so you give less and charge more. That's the secret to economic success. As long as everyone else does it, you get away with it. If Royal Caribbean didn't join in on the party, and then they promoted the fact that a room steward in an inside class room steward is as good as a first class room steward on Norwegian, they could really make hay with that, but they're not doing it. They need the money. They're broke. They need the money. Okay, so that's the first story. This came out a couple days ago, and it's been everywhere. Okay. Now, I heard a thing about Ruby Princess, the cruise line, Ruby Princess. Ruby Princess cruise ship came into Fort Lauderdale the other day with more than 200 cases of this gastronomical virus. You know, the one that gives you the You know what? The runs, yeah, over 200 passengers and crew fell ill, and the CDC came on board to inspect this ship. It was delayed leaving port because the crew had to do a massive emergency cleanup, top to bottom, on that ship to try to cut this back. The problem with these is that this is the number one problem with cruise ships. When you have too many people in too tight an area, and you have people touching handrails and touching sink taps and door handles. Um, Everyone else touches door handles and walk railways and railings and stuff. These gastronomical diseases infects everybody, and the thing is that if you catch this, if you bring it on board with you, which is what it happens, people don't catch it. Like, the first case of this disease is not caught on the ship. The first case of this disease is brought on board the ship. The person already is suffering from this in a mild form and is just thinking they have a cold. And they're now spreading it. Now, I can also pretty well tell you that it wouldn't surprise me that when 4,500 people get on a cruise ship or 3,000 people get on a cruise ship, 50 to 100 or maybe more are already ill. They've already got an issue of some kind that is a contagious something. And depending on your immune system and how exposed you are to certain folks with certain conditions, you're either going to get ill or not. And so the longer the cruise goes, the more likely the issues brought on board will now be passed on board because of the limited space. And after a week, 10 days, 12 days, 14 days, these cruises start to catch people with this problem. And there are times where this very contagious issue, this gastronomical thing, which just spreads like wildfire, you get that on day 3 on a 7-day cruise. By the time you get back, you could have 200, 500, 800 people affected by it. Just so you know. When you get home and you feel that you got the poops when you get home, like a week after your cruise, guess where you got it from? You got it from the cruise. It's a souvenir that you brought home with you. You had no idea. Sooner or later, it would make itself known to you, and there you go. All right, so that was another story that came out. I haven't reported one of these stories in 3 years, 2 years. I haven't talked to you about this problem. I remember I was mentioning this about one of the Royal Caribbean ships, one of the big ones that was in. They were in Jamaica. They weren't in Roca Rios. They were in, is it Falmouth? I think that the authorities wouldn't let them get off. They wouldn't let the people get off the ship. And they already had 450 or 500 cases of this thing. And the captain canceled the last 3 days of the cruise and left Jamaica back to Miami or Fort Lauderdale, wherever, Port Canaveral, wherever the ship started from. I think it was an Oasis class ship. And by the time they got there were 850 cases, like 24 or 48 hours later, 850 cases. It was bad. Anyway, that was that story. All right, now one more story for you. It has to do with Royal Caribbean again today. I'm not picking on Royal Caribbean. It's just they got 2 stories today. The largest ship in the world right now, the largest cruise ship in the world, the Wonder of the Seas, Oasis class ship. They got a problem. Somehow the computer systems, the reservation systems inside Royal Caribbean got some kind of a glitch, and they overbooked passengers on, guess what? The spring break cruise. The one cruise I won't go on, the spring break cruise. Unfortunately, the spring break cruise, where families are getting away for a winter getaway with their children because they're out of school now, that cruise, the worst possible, most heavily booked cruises of the year, are usually spring break cruises. college kids, high school kids, families. The Wonder of the Seas is overbooked, big time. Not even like 5 cabins too many booked. Talking probably hundreds of cabins, like a whole bunch of overbookings, and they figured it out somehow. Somebody did the math, I guess. How many eggs do we need to borrow to buy for this cruise? How many bottles of beer? What? No, this ship doesn't have that kind of capacity. How come we need all this? Oh, geez, look at all the cabins we booked. We booked more cabins than exist by a country mile, and they have got a problem here. And so they've come clean. They've come clean. Said we fouled this up. We've screwed this up. This one ship was overbooked, beyond overbooked, and we need people to voluntarily take door number 1, 2, or 3. We got 3 doors. Please pick curtain number 1, number 2, or number 3. And so they're offering they're offering a deal to anyone. The first offer is, instead of being on the Wonder of the Seas, we have a ship leaving called the Explorer of the Seas. Now, Jen and I have been on the Explorer of the Seas, and it's about 1,000 feet long, and it's about 138 feet wide. It's big, but it's not as big as the Wonder of the Seas. And it doesn't have the double wing in the back. It doesn't have the aqua theater. It was once one of the largest ships in the world of that class 15 years ago, but not anymore. And so the Explorer of the Seas is doing a 6-day cruise. It's doing a 6-day cruise, whereas the Wonder of the Seas is going to go for a 7-day cruise to St. Kitts, St. Thomas, Coco Key. The Explorer of the Seas is going to a different area of the Caribbean, 6 days only, not 7. And they're offering a 100% refund on your cruise for the Wonder of the Seas. They're going to give you, in effect, a cruise on this ship and $300 credit if you switch over to that one. You don't like that offer? Okay, door number 2. How about another cruise on the Wonder of the Seas? We'll give you a future cruise, straight up. The problem, unfortunately, it's July 30th or August 13th. Not necessarily winter in Michigan in July and August to take a Caribbean cruise. I think that one's going to fall flat on its face as well. Although, July 30, August 13th, school holidays, right? Yeah. Door number 3, full refund. We'll give you a full refund, and we'll give you a 100% future cruise credit on any ship you want down the road. Just not this one this time. So there are families out there who now have to make the decision. Do you want to be on a cruise ship that will be likely at 110% capacity? The ship will likely be crawling with college age kids. Spring breaking, probably. The racket will be unbelievable. You will not, you go on the Wonder of the Seas on this cruise, I can tell you, you will not be on a quiet family style cruise. You're going to be in party town. And I will tell you that if you take the Explorer of the Seas option, party town. You take any of the Carnival ships that week, party town. It's going to be mayhem. The college kids are going to be out there. It's going to be party central. And if you are a 20-year-old, 22-year-old, 24-year-old young couple, you might love it. You're 2 buddies, 2 guys, 2 gals. What a great cruise to take, of course, because you're surrounded by like-minded, like-thinking people on board a spring break cruise. To me, if I got this memo, I would take door number 3 and I would find another vacation to work on instead. And then I have this full-blown free cruise in the future that I will then book another time on something else. Now, I don't know if Royal Caribbean will allow you to book on Celebrity. They might even allow you to book Celebrity. You'd have to call on that one. But What a screw up. This is a huge screw up because you're asking people to give up a cruise on the newest, largest cruise ship in the world for something below that. I have a suspicion that what might end up happening, despite all the goodwill, the cruise line is going to have to send memos out to people, emails saying, "I'm sorry, but we've had to cancel your cabin. You lost the draw. You got the short end of the straw. You got the short straw. And here's your credit. Here's a future credit. Sorry, we can't let it happen." And they've got to do it now. It's March 6th. I mean, this is supposed to leave. This ship's supposed to leave March 12th in 6 days. In 6 days. What a foul up this is. A mega screw up. I mean, my God. And you got to wonder, is this screw up directly attributable to the fact that it is likely that this cruise line laid off so many of its employees on shore because of the bleeding that they're going through? I mean, the financial bloodbath is ridiculous. They let go a whole bunch of perhaps too many of these software folks, these technicians, software technicians. You wonder, huh? And the right hand and the left hand are not talking, and the safety valve and the double checking and the reservation booking marketing department all on different pages. Nobody is, and it's 6 days to go, and we got a problem. Like what? No, you got to get. And there's going to be flight credits paid out. There's going to be hotel credits paid out. All kinds of other fees that are going to have to be dished out because a lot of these folks booked through travel agents. The travel agents are going to be like tigers on these guys for funding refunds. Oh, I would not want to be a travel agent. No commissions for me for all this work I have to do, all this rebooking. I don't know how I don't know how they get compensated for all that extra hours and hours of work. They're going to have to go through and a upset customer. I mean, geez. Yikes. Okay. Anyway, so there's all that. Okay. There's all that. All right. Thank you all for being here so far. Let's just make sure we're up on all the messages here before I give you some more news here. Thank you. Louise, hi, Bruce. I'm glad Jen is doing great. I was at Costco before the thunderstorm on Friday. I'm surprised there's still food left for you to purchase. Jeannie, hello, Bruce, and all TWBers. Bill and Jeannie are here for the big show. Welcome, you guys from East Tennessee. It's great to see you here. Welcome. So happy to hear of Jen's excellent progress in her recovery. Currently at 66 Fahrenheit here. Welcome to two of you. That's unbelievable. Yeah, we're coming around. It's okay. Sharon, honestly, I'm fine with once a day service. I like knowing that I can pop into my room without interrupting the evening service. I don't know. I don't like paying more for it though. There you go. Stephen, there will be, they will have a marketing plan to make, they will have a marketing plan to make being in steerage as a low-cost adventure like European Youth Hostel with hammocks hanging in open bay dormitories. Unlimited Kool-Aid and hot dogs. There you go. Oh man, Sylvia. Hello, Bruce. I am number 32 on your thumbs up meter. How you doing? Hi there, Sylvia. Great to have you here tonight. Oh my gosh. All right. Okay. So here's what I have for you. I went and scoured for I went and looked up some cruises today, and I thought, what would be some really neat cruises to go on at this time, and I thought, I came up with four cruises that you should consider that might be in your future. You never know. This might just appeal to you. I was thinking something not necessarily the same old. So I thought something different. So the first cruise I came up with it's basically cruise number one, 33 nights. All right. That's typically not not your 7-day, 10-day cruise. 33-night cruise and leaving on May the 26th, 2023 on the Island Princess cruise ship from Fort Lauderdale to Southampton. Now, when you hear me say you're leaving Fort Lauderdale and you're going to Southampton, your brain, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, well, he's talking about a repositioning cruise across the Atlantic Ocean. But then your brain says, wait a minute, he said it was 33 nights. There are no repositioning cruises from Fort Lauderdale to Southampton for 33 nights. These are like 13, 14, 15-day cruises, man. Where are we going? Well, let me show you. Yeah, that's the thing. There's this thing, and here's the thing. You leave Fort Lauderdale Friday, the 26th of May, and you have 3 sea days. You're heading north, believe it or not. You're going to Halifax, Nova Scotia, in Canada. That's your first stop. Is Halifax, a finer city you'll never see. Wonderful people in Nova Scotia. Some of the best live in Nova Scotia. You'll enjoy that. Then you're going to head out to sea for 5 days, and you're going to end up on Monday, June the 5th, in Reykjavik, in Iceland. And you then have four consecutive days of Iceland stops, one after the other. You are going to see stuff that you will see nowhere else on the planet. Volcanic activities, hot baths. I mean, you can do. I'm sure you can do tours on these 4 stops that will be showstoppers, each and every one. If this were 25 years ago, 30 years ago, I'd be telling you to bring along extra what are those called? Insta cameras, those Instagram cameras. You remember the cameras you used to buy at Walmart? You'd go into a Walmart and they'd have on a pole near the checkout stand, they'd have these Instamatic cameras. You remember the Instamatic cameras? They were all plastic, and they had the built-in flash, and they came in with 24 photos of film of 24 already loaded. All you had to do was just click, 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 get the camera to the front and then start taking photos. Of course, you had no idea what your photos looked like until you got them back. And then they would sell you these packages with that Instamatic camera and 2 extra rolls of film, 24 each. So now you had 72 photos that you could take with the Instamatic camera. And then they had those other rolls. They had these what they call blister packs, where they'd have 10 rolls of film, and it'd be 24 exposures on each roll of film. You get 240 for like $14.99 or something. You get to buy the film to load into your camera, to take the picture, not knowing what it would look like, hoping that you didn't put your finger in front of the thing and as you took it, because all you got was your finger. And then after the 1 hour photo processing at about 25 cents a photo, you'd get them back. They'll run you $6 a roll, and you get 10 rolls done, run you $60, and now you get to see if you have any good pictures. You remember the good old days? Those are the good old days. Okay, well, I would tell you that on this Iceland tour, grab some of those cameras because you want to take a lot of photos. But today, we just use these. We're lazy. What can I say? Okay, it's all good. After Iceland for 4 days, you have 2 more days at sea, and you end up in Falmouth, Cornwall, England. And on Monday, June the 12th, you end up in Southampton. And like I said, the cruise went from Fort Lauderdale to Southampton, except for one thing. The cruise isn't over. This cruise isn't done yet. You stay on the ship. You don't go. You're not done yet. This is in 33 days. You leave Southampton. You have a sea day. And on Wednesday, June 14th, you're in Haugesund, Norway. And on the next day, Olden, Norway. Guess what you're doing? You're going to see these fjords. You're going to see these phenomenal fjords. You're going to leave Olden on the 15th of June, sea day on the 16th. The 17th, you're going to Tromsø, Norway, and Høningsvåg, Norway. Now, I want to kind of warn you because I cannot say these names. I can't say these names, but Høningsvåg, Norway, as best as I can say, it's basically it's up there. It's really at the top of Norway, the mainland. It's way up there, and from there. You're going to have a sea day, and you're going to go to another place called Longyearbyen, Spitsbergen, Norway. Try and say that really fast without drinking, let alone trying to say it while you're drinking. Of course, I'm not drinking, but I'm just saying it is not easy to say this. But apparently, we're talking about an island formation that is in the Arctic Circle. You are now in the Arctic Circle where the sun likely will not set. And this might be a once in a lifetime experience to enjoy. Um, that's June the 20th, longest day of the year, too. June 21st, 22nd, you're at sea, and then you're heading to Trondheim, Norway. The next day, Andalsnes, Norway, and then Skjolden, Norway. I'm screwing up every single translation. Don't hold me to this. 2 days at sea, and then you're in Southampton. So what you've got here is a transatlantic cruise with a Norwegian cruise added to it, and you gotta love this. That is just worth it. Now, how worth it, Bruce? Can you tell me? Is this a good deal or not? I'll tell you this. 33 nighter, okay, on the Island Princess. You want to take an inside room, you can get this deal for $2,549. I'm going to translate that as to about maybe $80 a night, maybe something like that. Maybe not quite. In Ocean View, $27.38, not too much more. Balcony, $3,600, just over $100 a night per person. This is a bargain when you think about where you're going. Iceland, the UK, Norway. You're talking big money here. We're talking euros. You're talking American dollars here. And I got something else for you. Hang on, it gets better than that. Brochure suite, $48.31. Okay, that's a little more money. Fair enough. But here's the good stuff. No matter what cabin you book, you get a $500 per cabin credit from the cruise line to take this cruise. And if you're a shareholder of Carnival, and all you got to do is buy 100 shares of Carnival stock, hold it. Sorry, not 100 shares. 100 shares of Carnival stock, and they're trading at $10 a share. It's $1,000 in stock. You buy $1,000 in Carnival stock. You hold it for 2 months, a month before your cruise until after your cruise is done, and then you sell the stock. You probably break even on it. You get a $250 cabin credit for that. So you get $750 in cabin credits on this cruise for 33 nights. That to places you've probably never seen before. I've never seen these places. I've never been to Iceland. I've never been to Norway. I'd like to see this. In the dead of summer. You got to love that. You probably want to bring your windbreaker, though, and a toque and some mitts because it's nippy. It's cool. And the ship going through the ocean, it's got, it's windy. It's cold. I think you'll like it. Whales, seals, porpoises, glaciers, icebergs, perhaps, certainly mountains covered in snow that you've never seen before. This is a cruise. This is one of those cruises. All right, well, that's cruise number one. I hope you like that. Sylvia, 33 nights. Sounds like a Tom Henry cruise, for crying out loud. Yes, it does, doesn't it? Yes, I remember those cameras. I would buy those cameras for my daughter to take on her elementary school field trips. You remember those Instamatic cameras? I remember the cameras that were very long and narrow, and on the end you had this push in the thing to advance the film, and then you'd hold it like that, and the camera was like an inch high and about 8 inches wide, and it had a built-in flash, all operated by a battery, and it was basically, in theory, you could use the camera again and again and again because you just had to change out batteries when you needed to do the flash. But I remember when you held them, and if you held the battery at this end, like the camera was like this, you held the battery here and you held the battery here, and you would try to twist the body of the camera, you could hear it creaking. It's all plastic. It was all plastic. And you could make the camera go click, click. You could make it squeak because it's plastic. Unbelievable. Stephen, the Svalbard Global Seed Vault is in Spitzenberger. That is the Doomsday Vault. Seeds stored from all over the world for all kinds of plants and crops. The Doomsday Vault is there. That's right. Stephen Butler, yeah, Spitzenbergen. Sorry for the typo. It's okay. It's all right. All right. Cruise number 2. All right, here we go. It's a 14-nighter on the Britannia. The Britannia cruise ship, P&O Cruise Line, leaving Southampton, returning to Southampton. The ship We'll depart Southampton on May the 12th. Beautiful weather. May 13th, day at sea. May 14th, Skagen, Denmark. In Skagen, Denmark. Monday, May 15th, Kiel Canal. Tuesday, Wednesday, the 16th, 17th of May, at sea. May 18th, Thursday, Helsinki, Finland, for 2 nights. You get to explore Helsinki. Saturday, May the 20th, Tallinn in Estonia. Sunday, May 21st, Stockholm, Sweden for the day. Monday, May 22nd, sea day. Tuesday, May 23rd, Copenhagen in Denmark. Beautiful city. Love to see it myself, but I've seen really nice things about it. Can't wait to go. 2 sea days later, after Wednesday and Thursday, May 24, 25, you're back in Southampton. Here's a beautiful, Baltic Sea cruise, North Sea cruise on the Britannia. Nice ship, excellent everything. $824 for an inside room, 14-nighter. 2 weeks, $824 per person inside. Ocean view, $1,850. Balcony, $1,119. Forget the ocean view. Take the balcony for $1,119. Thank you very much. No other promotions above and beyond that, but that's a good deal. That is cruise numero el duo. The third cruise that you might want to consider, something you might not do every time. This is a 21-night cruise, and it begins in Fort Lauderdale and ends in Amsterdam. Fantastic. This is a great way to begin a phenomenal European vacation. So hear me out. You leave Fort Lauderdale April the 3rd, okay? So, obviously we're beginning this, it's a repositioning cruise, but obviously it's a 21-nighter. 3-week repositioning cruise. So Fort Lauderdale, 2 days at sea. You're in New York. 2 nights in New York. Love to spend 2 nights on a ship in New York. That'd be great. Then you leave Saturday, the 8th of April, and on Saturday, the 15th, that's your last sea day. So you got like 7 straight sea days. You end up on Sunday, the 16th of April, in Plymouth, in England. And then on Monday, Dover. You're in Dover. Then on Tuesday, Wednesday, you're in Rotterdam in Holland, one of the largest ports in all the world. You have a sea day. You'll be in Oslo on Friday, April 21st, Copenhagen, Saturday, April 22nd, a sea day on the 23rd, and April 24th, Amsterdam. You're in Amsterdam. Now, Rotterdam and Amsterdam are 50, 80 miles apart from each other. They're in the vicinity. So you've already got 2 nights in Rotterdam. You can do a day trip into Amsterdam already, or check out the Rotterdam area, or the countryside. Tours like galore. You're a World War II buff. You're going to be able to see stuff from the Second World War. You like windmills. You'll see windmill stuff. You like tulips. You can go to a tulip farm. All kinds of stuff to see. When this cruise is over, you're in Amsterdam. And when in Amsterdam, you cannot go from the ship right to the airport. You are out of your mind if you go right to the airport and get out of Dodge. That is a mistake of epic proportion. When in Amsterdam, you must, and it's easy to find a hotel. It's very affordable. You must spend 3 or 4 nights in Amsterdam. You've got to get the flavor of that place. It is a UNESCO experience unto itself. It'll grow on you. I'm telling you. Most of you know this. Some of you are clueless to this. I'm your friend. I'm your pal. And I'm telling you, you got to do it. The Holland America ship is the Rotterdam. That's the ship you're on. Holland America. They know that area there. The crew. This is home turf for these guys. This whole cruise over there, you're going to love it. Inside room for 21 nights, $944. Divide that by 3. We're talking $315 a week a person. Who cares what the tip charge is? Who cares what a drink costs? It's $315 for your room per person per week. Come on. Ocean view is a little out of the price range. It looks like it's $1,070. Forget that. $1,400 for a balcony, 21 nights. Thank you. $66 a night for balcony. I take that deal. A suite, $2,740. a little more expensive, but still barely over $100 a person, $120 a night. Still a good deal. Anyway, those are the deals for this cruise. This cruise, the itinerary is just fabulous, absolutely fabulous. All right, I got one more cruise for you. Okay, let me see here. Good evening, Bruce. I heard the FBI was investigating a death on the Carnival Sunshine. Do you have any additional information? I understand that a female passenger had died. The crew, medical staff, had tried to revive the passenger to no avail. That's all I know. I know that the passenger traveled with her husband. That now police authorities were looking into it, and that's all I've got. That's all I know, and it's a sad story. It surely is. I know others are covering this story. Other YouTubers, they're covering it, so you may find out more information from them. You may not. All right. Here's your fourth cruise. Okay, here's cruise number 4. It's Holland America again. So we're talking 5.5-star cruise line. This is really nice. 22-night cruise on the new Staten Dam. Nice ship. Big, nice, fantastic. This cruise starts May the 6th. It's 22 nights. Begins in Barcelona, España. In Spain, it begins and ends in Amsterdam. So, the trick here, if you can get the time, sometimes money isn't the issue for people. Sometimes money isn't the problem. To really make a holiday like this work, it's a time availability. Can you spare 22 days for the cruise? Can you spare a week before your cruise? Can you spare a week after your cruise, or some combination thereof, to really nail this one? If you're going to go to Barcelona, España, many airports from North America to Barcelona, and of course Europe, easy. Train, plane, bus. But if you are from North America, you've got to get to Barcelona 4 days before your cruise, 5 days, 6. Why? You've got to adjust for the time change. The dumbest thing you can do is land in Barcelona and get on a cruise ship that afternoon, and then you're at sea that night. Oh, no. 2-3 days trying to adapt to sea change, time change, and you're on a potential cruise ship that might be doing this and might not. Not what I would call the right move. You get to Barcelona a week before if you can do it, and enjoy Barcelona and settle in. So when you're on the ship, Saturday, May the 6th, you get on board this ship in Barcelona. Sunday, you're in Cartagena, Spain. Monday, May the 8th, you're in Ceuta, Spanish territory. Tuesday, May 9th, you're in Lisbon, Portugal. Thank you. One day it's sea. And then on Thursday, May the 11th, Brest in France. Friday, May the 12th, you're at Le Havre, which is the port that you can get to Paris to by bus quickly, or by train. You can get a day in Paris. You head to the Eiffel Tower if you want. Saturday, May 13th at sea. Sunday, May 14th, Amsterdam. Monday, May 15th at sea. Tuesday, May 16th, Stavanger, Norway. Wednesday, May 17th, Flam, Norway. Wednesday, May 17th, Sunnafjord, Norway. That's a cruising day. You're in a fjord all day. It's wonderful. Thursday, May the 18th, Alesund, Norway. Friday, May 19th, Trondheim, Norway. Saturday, May 20th, Sea Day. Sunday and Monday, Sunday, May 21, pardon me, Hammerfest, Norway. Monday, May 22nd, Höningsvåg, Norway. Monday, May 22nd, North Cape, Norway. You're cruising, you're way up there. Arctic Circle territory, you're way up there. 2 sea days, May 23rd, 24th. Thursday, May 25th, Geiranger, Norway. You're cruising again. Friday, May 26th, Bergen, Norway. Wonderful town. Sunday, May 27th, at sea. And Sunday, May 28th, Amsterdam. Your cruise is done. You've done a wonderful cruise. 22-nighter for Barcelona, Lisbon, up to France, and all the way up into Norway, way up to the Arctic Circle and back in May, the longest days of the year. Fantastic. Inside room, $1,376 for 22 nights. Not bad at all. The balcony, 1886. Those are the two prices I can give you. 1886 is the one you take. 1300 for the inside. Pay the extra 500. Take the balcony, and get your iPhone going. Get your camera going. Bring binoculars, for God's sake. Bring binoculars. Don't forever forget when you go on a cruise. Don't ever forget your binoculars. Another thing, no matter what cruise you're taking, whether you're taking this first cruise on the Island Princess, or you're taking P&O Britannia, which I believe is which is a Carnival line. If you're taking Holland America or for any cruise, these are all Carnival properties, Carnival cruise lines. They all qualify for, I believe, a $250 cabin credit if you're a shareholder of Carnival on top of any other promotions. So these deals plus a $250 onboard credit can go a long way to making this very palatable. As far as this cruise goes, I just told you about, starting off in Barcelona, ending in Amsterdam, you got to spend time in each port when it's all over so that you get the ambiance of each place. Fly home from Amsterdam if you like, or take the channel, the train underneath the English Channel from Amsterdam to London. Spend a little time in London and fly home from the UK if the best airfare is UK. And if to get to Europe, the best fare is UK return. London there, London back. Don't worry about it. Fly into London, spend a few days in London if you like. Fly to Barcelona, be about 2 hours or something like that. Spend several days in Barcelona. Catch your cruise. Finish up in Amsterdam. Spend a few days in Amsterdam. Train it if you want. Plane it. What a boring ride, 30-minute plane ride. Take the train, enjoy London a little bit on the way home, and then fly back. What a holiday that would be. May and June of this year. Pretty nice. There's 4 cruises for you to consider. Who knows? One of those just might catch your thought and go, hey, these Norway cruises, Iceland stops, these sound really different, really out of the norm. Yes, grab your cameras and enjoy. Absolutely might be worth your while. Folks, thank you for joining me tonight, being here. I hope you like these 4 deals. One of them appeals to you. That's great. Vacations to Go is where you need to go to find these deals. Vacationstogo.com. That's how I find them. Check them out and see what you think. In the meantime, we'll keep an eye on the cruise lines to see what's going on, and we'll get another week under our belt here in Palm Desert. I hope you have a great week this week. I hope you all stay very healthy, and all have yourselves a great week coming up, plotting your trips for this summer, spring, summer, and fall. And thanks again for your support of this channel. Thank you for the thumbs ups. If you've hit the thumbs up button today, it is much appreciated. So far, we are now sitting on a total of 43. We're on our way to the halfway mark of 100 thumbs ups. I know we will get the other 45, 55 from our replay viewers. Thank you, all of you around the world who watch me and catch up with these shows. It's much appreciated that you're here. And we look forward to catching you next week. Donnell, enjoyed the big show. Bruce, have a great, safe week, y'all. Thanks, Donnell. Stephen Butler, thanks, Bruce and Jen. Jeannie, catch you next week. Bye for now. Thank you, Jeannie. I have a great week in East Tennessee. Stay warm out there. Stay healthy out there. And we'll see you next Monday, 7 o'clock for the sponsor member show, 8 o'clock for the big show. Love to have you here. Welcome, and thank you for supporting TWB. Have a great rest of the week. Thank you, Jason, for the kind words. Appreciate it, my friend. The best to you and your family. We'll see you all next Monday, everybody. Have a great night. Take care, and bye from Palm Desert, California.